Hi, let's look at some spreadsheet solutions for finance. Some of the functions that are already pre-programmed in Excel. Using a present value. We're going to do this example always with the same numbers. 7%, 10 periods, 110 payment. Future value is going to be 0, or we're going to calculate it. The present value we've calculated in this example, and I'll show you this in just a second. In order to calculate a PV, we need to insert a function. So we're going to click on the Insert Function button. In the category, we're going to select Financial. Mine was already selected. And we're going to scroll down until we get to the PV function. Right here. Just like in our calculator, Excel is asking us to enter the variables. So we'll type in the variables. I will type in the numbers right now. Ideally, we would have all of these values into separate cells and just refer to the cells. But for the example, let's just type our values. So 0.07, this is 7%. So I'm going to write it in decimals, not like in the calculator. Our calculator understood right away when we told it 7, we meant 7%. Excel doesn't understand that right away. Number of periods. NPR, number of periods. PMT is the payment, 110 in our example. Future value is left blank, or 0. One of the two will do the same. I'll leave it blank for now. Type, a logical value. Payment at the beginning is going to be 1. So if we had a beginning of period payment, we would enter the value 1 inside of type. Since we have an end of period payment, we're just going to leave it blank, or we could type in 0. You'll notice that Excel is already giving me an answer here. All I have to do is click OK to return the actual PV. My payment was entered as a positive number. My present value is returned as a negative number. Same convention that we had in our calculator. Future value. This is how we go around calculating the future value. To create a future value, we're going to go back to Insert the Function, Financial, and let's look for an FV. We're going to scroll down until we get to the FV function and insert that function. Again, just like the calculator, we're going to enter our rates. 0.07 in rate, number of periods, 10. My payment, 110. My variable, PV, is 0. We're going to stick with a end of period payment and just click OK. Again, my payment has been entered as a positive amount. It's returning me a negative amount, just the convention how to enter signs. Calculating the number of periods, NPER, number of periods. This is how we go around calculating number of periods. To calculate the number of periods, let's just click back here to insert our function. In the financial, the function we're going to be looking for is NPER. Let's scroll down. NPER is down here. Enter. Variables. 0.07 is our rate. 110 is our payment. $772.59. That was our PV a few minutes ago. If you're looking here, we're getting to our 10 periods as an answer. Well, if we take off, there we go. The only reason we're not getting exactly to 10 is because I didn't enter all of the digits in the present value. Rate, calculating the rate of interest. Calculating the rate, again, insert, and all we want to look for in the financial is rate. Rate is the equation here that will calculate the rate. Number of periods, 10. Payment, 110. PV, $772.59. Should give me my rate, 7%. Transfer this back into 7. There we go. So always, you see that Excel is always calculating the right amounts. calculating the payment. PMT stands for payment, just like on our calculator. To calculate the payment, inserting a function, and the payment is called PMT. So let's go all the way down to PMT. Our rate, 0.07. We're going to enter that here. Number of periods, we said 10. TV, 772 and 59. I'm going to enter that as a negative number. Notice again, 110. That's exactly what we've been looking for. If I click again on the insert function button, I'll return to the wizard here. Let's get rid of this PV. We're going to enter the future value we obtained a few, again, in the other example, 1519.81. You'll notice I'm getting again exactly to the same value, 110. All of this is always equal as long as we stay inside of our equation, payments, future values, present values, as long as we have the same frequency, the same number of periods, the same rate, everything should always be equal. Another way to generate the functions in Excel without insert function and going through the wizard, if you're a bit more comfortable with Excel, we could just start by typing equal, sending a message to Excel. I'm going to start calculating here. You need to start calculating. So we can type in, if you already know the syntax, we could just type in, let's say PV. Automatically, Excel will start identifying functions that have PV in it. This little function sign tells me there is a function PV. I open my parenthesis. Right away again, on screen I'm getting indications. My variables are all there. Rate, NPER, PMT. You'll see that they're separated by commas. In other words, I could type and separate each of these values by comma. The ones that are inside of the square brackets are optional. You don't really need those. They are optional. In other words, the calculation can be done without them. So my present value, 0.007, comma, number of periods, 10, comma, payment, 110. I'm all done. I could just finish by closing my parenthesis and hitting enter to calculate. Same thing that we got earlier. There are other financial functions already pre-programmed in Excel. Effect, nominal, IPMT, and PPMT. The following segment will show you how to use these functions. Here are a couple of other functions that are very interesting in Excel. We saw how to convert nominal rates to effective rates. Excel has this function here called effect. In effect, what we have to mention is the first variable, the nominal rate. The compounding frequency is the second variable. Excel will return the effective rate. Here, effective rate I've just transferred up here. Another function, nominal, does completely the opposite. In other words, I'm going to enter the first variable, my effective rate. How many compounding periods did I use? Is the second variable, it will return my nominal rate, which are equal. Another interesting function, IPMT. This will return the interest portion of any payment. The way we're going to enter this function, let's go back to the wizard. We're going to enter the rate, the period for which we want to calculate the interest, the number of periods total, NPER, the same variable we had earlier, and PV. So in our case, $54.08 is the interest portion of the first payment. PPMT, another interesting function. Rate, the period for which we want to calculate, number of periods, PV, and this will return, you guessed it, the principal portion of the first payment. If we add both of these together, let's do this plus this, and what do we get? $110, which is exactly the payment we've been looking for. So for every payment, if I would have entered a 2 instead of a 1 inside of the number of payment, I would have gotten the interest and the principal for the second payment. Thanks for watching Spreadsheet Solutions.